It's time for the Contempo Coding Holiday Christmas Game! What, boys? All right. So I decided that for this game, we're going to try something a little bit different. And instead of doing the kind of coding scenarios, I pulled out of my basket of tricks that I have an old coding fun holiday trivia game I used to use for my chapter, and I basically made slides for them instead of it's on like a little PDF or Word document quiz. And I thought this would be kind of fun to go through. It's not a hard game, but it is kind of a fun one, and it's a little bit festive, so I thought totally appropriate for the channel, so I've converted it over into a holiday game. It is multiple choice, so kind of like a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire style. So I'm going to ask you the question, you guess which one it is, and then you can play along. And they're not just coding, they're also just some kind of billing revenue cycle-y stuff. I've got my festive shirt on. This is the I'm a big fan of the Little Debbie. Let's see if we can get it in here. The Little Debbie Christmas tree cakes. That was something that my mother always got for me in December because she packed my lunch every day, so I have a particular fondness to them, even though I know they are in no way, shape, or form any kind of particular delicacy. I heard someone once refer to them as, you know, she said that they taste like a dish sponge covered in birthday candle wax, but in the best way possible. And yeah, can't argue with that. So anyway, let's get into our slides. Here we go. Yay! This first one that we're going to get into, this is, okay. Oh, you know, I might have to, you know, I have two screens now. One where I'm on the right and one where I'm on the left. So let's navigate over here where I'm over. Oh, there we go. Better on the other side so you can see the text. So Santa slid off the roof, cut his leg on the corner of a rusty nail. He visits Dr. Elf for an office visit, and the wound is evaluated, cleaned. He also received a tetanus shot. So what modifier should we be using on the office visit? So we've got an office visit, we've got a tetanus shot. You know what those are? Office visit, procedure, same day. What modifier do we use there? Is it A, modifier 50, B, modifier HO, C, modifier 25, or D, modifier JJ? It is C, modifier 25. So modifier 25 is the modifier you use on an evaluation and management service when a procedure, separately identifiable procedure or service, is done on the exact same day. Question 2. Let's get into Mrs. Claus decided she wanted benefits that covered more than her traditional Medicare plan. She opted for a replacement Medicare plan, which is also known as a what? Is it A, Frosty the Snowman, B, statutorily excluded, C, Medicare Advantage, or D, I want a hippopotamus for Christmas? I feel like I should have like a countdown ticker. I might edit one in. Let's see. Okay, so the answer is C, Medicare Advantage. So when you have Medicare, you qualify for Medicare, you can elect to get a replacement plan that gives you more benefits than Medicare, but you might have to pay a copay or more premiums or whatever, but you get better benefits out of that, and that's also known as a Medicare Advantage plan. So our next one, in the 1994 movie The Santa Claus, Tim Allen has to take over for Kris Kringle, but he skips the cookies and milk, claiming that he is lactose intolerant. In what section of the medical record would lactose intolerance most likely appear? Is it A, the assessment and plan, B, the history, C, annual wellness visit, or D, exam? The answer is B, the history. So that would be an allergic reaction, and allergic reactions or intolerances or insensitivities to certain substances, we would find that most likely in the history section of the note. Next question. You drank a little too much eggnog at your company Christmas party. In what section of the ICD-10 book would you most likely look when trying to find the code for alcohol intoxication? FYI, it's code F10.929, alcohol use unspecified with intoxication unspecified. So are you most likely to be looking at A, the neoplasm table, B, the table of drugs and chemicals, C, diseases of the circulatory system, or D, appendix A? So we're trying to find some codes for alcohol intoxication, maybe an intentional type of poisoning or taking a wrong amount type of code. Where do we find those? We find them in the table of drugs and chemicals. So you go to your table of drugs and chemicals and you would look under alcohol, and we would have to determine the cause. Was it intentional, accidental, etc., to find the right code for our alcohol code. Next question. Rudolph has a runny nose. Let me get myself out of here. What is the most likely medical term for the condition of a runny red nose? Is it A, rhinorrhea, B, diarrhea, C, amenorrhea, or D, euloria? Euloria. It is answer A. So rhinorrhea. So that's the term for a runny nose. Rhino meaning nose. So if you think of a rhino, which has a big nose on it, that means nose. And then rhea is any kind of a leakage type of thing. So rhinorrhea is your nose running. Next question, we have diagnosis E70.5 is for disorders of tryptophan metabolism. Tryptophan is found in what holiday food that people most often attribute to making you feel sleepy? So what do they say? What food do you find tryptophan in that everyone says it makes you sleepy? Is it A, hamburgers, B, turkey, C, Christmas cookies, or D, baklava? That reminds me of something, you guys. I can't make baklava for anything, but I have a recipe. It is so amazing for these baklava sugar cookies, where you basically take pre-made sugar cookie mix from Pillsbury and you put like almost all the ingredients that you would for baklava on top of it, which is like you crush up some little phyllo cups and put on the honey and the cinnamon and all this stuff, and it is like so easy, but it tastes, you get all the flavors of baklava, and it's just so much easier. Oh my god, I'll have to link it to you guys below because it is amazing. So anyway, I'm rambling. The disorders of tryptophan metabolism is usually designated to B, which is turkey. So that's what they say. They say that turkey makes you sleepy, and the reason because of it is because of all that tryptophan. How about that? I think eating a lot of any food makes me sleepy. Gingy, the gingerbread man, had his leg bitten off. What commonly missed HCC diagnosis code would be utilized? Now, if you don't know anything about HCCs are hierarchical conditional categories, and they're all the patient's medical conditions that we know cost a lot, and we have to report those out once a year for different quality measures, especially in the different Medicare programs and quality programs that they have, because we want to know that we're taking really good care of these patients who are expected to have very high healthcare costs. And sometimes providers miss diagnoses, and one of the commonly missed ones is they do get a higher HCC score for amputations because of the fact that there's less circulation there. It affects their circulation, it affects their ambulation, so that does cost more. But what's the diagnosis code that should be attached? So is it A, Z23 encounter for immunization, B, Z00.01 encounter for general adult medical examination with abnormal findings, C, Z71.1 person with feared health complaint in whom no diagnosis is made, or D, Z78.619 acquired absence of unspecified leg above the knee? It would actually be D. That's the one that gets missed a lot. And it's not because providers, forget about it. It's just that they don't think about documenting it in the medical record, and they don't think about how that might affect things like reimbursement. But it does. It affects circulation and ambulation quite a bit. That Z7 1.1 code, though, that's the one that I think a lot of people aren't made aware of. And it's an interesting code because it can be used for patients that come into an office particularly, and they think something's wrong with them, but you wind up finding out that there's really nothing there. And in that case, you're like, I don't know what diagnosis to put on them. They thought they had, a foreign body in their ear, but there wasn't anything there. And you can use that Z7 1.1 person with feared health complaint in whom no diagnosis is made. Now, not saying maybe the insurance may pay for it or not, but there is a diagnosis that you can attach to that. Next question. If you spend too much time walking in a winter wonderland, what condition are you most likely to develop? Is it A, volume overload, B, cat scratch fever, D, hypothermia, or D, hypothyroidism? You would most likely, walking in a winter wonderland for too long, develop C, hypothyroidism. So let's get into it, because that's the condition where you're very, very cold. Next question, diagnosis code W55.32XA struck by other hoof stock initial encounter would best fit which Christmas carol? Would it be A, Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer, B, Christmas Shoes, C, Melikalikimaka, and D, Silver Bells? Which one would best fit the W5532XA struck by other hoof stock? It would be A, Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. So I'm going to tell you, personally, that Christmas Shoes song, man, that is a depressing song. I am not sure I really enjoy listening to that one anymore. I've heard, what is this song? Do They Know It's Christmas After? No, Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time is the one that I think has historically been deemed the worst Christmas song of all time, Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time. It's not one of my favorites either. What is my favorite Christmas song? I don't know. My kid has been listening to that Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas Is You, over and over and over. That, it's funny how much of a classic that has become, right? Next question. Clark Griswold thought he heard sleigh bells ringing, but it turns out it was just ringing in his ear. So what is the medical term for ear ringing? Is it A, tinnitus, B, tinnitus, C, earringitis, or D, tonsillitis? So what is it? A, B, C, or D? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? It is actually question, answer, number, letter B, tinnitus. I am not going to be replacing any game show hosts anytime soon, Victoria. My goodness, this is terrible. I couldn't host the Wheel of Fortune. Oh, goodness. Okay, next question. I've only got a couple of slides left. This is sad. I'm having so much fun. I hope you guys are having fun too, because I am trying so hard, you guys. A rider on the Polar Express needs 400 cc's of hot chocolate. Stat. How soon do they need it? A, tomorrow. B, next week. C, start today, again tomorrow. Or D, as soon as possible. So D, if you need hot chocolate stat, how soon do you need that? How soon do you need that hot chocolate when they say stat? When they say stat hot chocolate. It is D, as soon as possible. So that is actually my last slide, you guys. So let me tell you about the Polar Express. So every year I take my daughter Lizzie to see the Polar Express. They have the IMAX here. They'll have dollar tickets every year to go see the Polar Express. So we buy 2 tickets. It only costs us $2. The Grinch is usually there. They have hot chocolate and snacks. Sometimes people will contribute little snacks to the kids for Polar Express Day at the IMAX, and you wear pajamas, and it's just a lot of fun. And of course, with COVID, that's not happening this year. But my daughter, we decided to have Polar Express Day at home, so we both got into our pajamas, and I set up the video projector in her bedroom and projected it against her bedroom wall. We got in our pajamas and made popcorn and hot chocolate, and we had Polar Express stay at home today, which was very, very nice. And I think it will be definitely a memorable one. Not that the IMAXs weren't, but now we had to change up our tradition, and it actually turned out really, really well despite all of that. So we're definitely finding ways to make the most of things at home this year. So I want to wish all of you just lots of smiles and laughter this season, and I hope you can make things the best that you absolutely can. I am so excited for what 2021 is going to bring. I really feel like we're seeing a light at the end of the tunnel. I want you guys to have a prosperous new year and meet all of your goals as far as medical coding, getting into medical coding, getting that new credential, getting a new job, getting paid more at your job. I think there's just going to be so many bright futures that we're going to see in 2021. So thank you so much to everyone for helping support me and the channel. I hope you enjoyed my Christmas celebration. I'm going to be thinking about maybe making some, what's our next holiday? Valentine's. I could do a cardio thing, and I might make a Valentine's themed medical coding t-shirt. So check in the merch shop for that as well. And until then, you guys, thank you so much, and just keep on coding on.